Hello, Craig.
Larry,
Good
great
to see you.
You as well.
We have a beautiful day. We're going to walk around. We're going to talk a little bit about business, a little bit about pleasure, and everything in between.
And best part, we're together again.
Yes. So I think the last conversation we had, the last long conversation we had, was when CDMP formally became CDMP, as opposed to its traditional CDM Princeton. Walk me through that a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the evolution. I mean, certainly I know the story, but I'd love to hear it from you.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful story. We've been around, CDM Princeton has been around for 23 years. And recently we've noticed that we have something really special going on down at the agency. And we rebranded ourselves last year to drop the Princeton and really give ourselves kind of a unique identity around CDMP, more of that pioneering spirit that we believe we hold as an agency. The other thing is that we were defined by a place, by Princeton. We were hiring people from 10, 12, 14 different states. They were coming from all over. We opened up a brand new office in San Francisco, California. CDM Princeton just didn't feel right any longer. And one of the pieces that we quickly learned about CDMP is that we did have something very different and very special brewing at our agency, and it was our people, it was the culture, it was the camaraderie and the partnership. It was this collective intelligence of bringing such a diverse group together and developing and building something that was bigger than all of us. And the culture became really a critical piece for me personally to make sure that we were fanning that as much as possible and really making sure that we're giving people a place that they felt that they can grow, that they can learn, and that they can actually contribute to not only our industry, but also to the world around them.
Culture is something that's hard to do under the best of circumstances, and here it was in the middle of a pandemic. Tell me a little bit about making sure that that was not something that got lost to the distance that we all had over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we doubled down on making sure that there was an environment that we were building, even though we were all working remotely and we were all working very much apart. We wanted to make sure that we were fostering an environment and a culture of togetherness, the best that we could. So we found the opportunities every day, every week to bring people together. Every Friday we have a town hall where we talk about the week's successes and team successes, individual successes. We celebrate one another on those town hall meetings to make sure that everyone felt connected. We also made sure that we were doing events throughout the week and the month to bring people together. We actually just brought a chocolatier in from Costa Rica to teach us all about making chocolate. We brought a Buddhist monk in from Japan to teach us the art of meditation. I mean, little things like this go a long way. And
well, it's the togetherness aspect, but it's also, okay, this is a atypical work day. This is not a day when you're gonna come in, you're gonna do some client work, you're gonna do some meetings, you're gonna brainstorm, you're gonna do what everything else is.
Our job is to make sure that you embrace it and you adapt to it and you make it work. And I think that one of the beautiful things about the environment was we figured it out. We made it work. We were just as efficient, if not more efficient. We were just as effective, if not more effective, working in this remote situation of ours. For years, we repositioned our agency around the idea of being the life-changing agency. And when I talk about the life-changing agency, really what I'm talking about is the fact that we're focused on life-changing brands, those brands that are making a meaningful impact in the world that we're living in right now. But when you're talking about the change that we've seen, a lot of this change is because of the repositioning of CDMP around life-changing. We're going after those brands that are truly making a difference. We're very selective. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, we've turned down close to 25 RFPs because they just did not align with our criteria of being truly a life-changing brand. So we are being much more critical, a lot more selective, and because of that, we're seeing a lot more success at the agency based on the brands and the clients that we are now focused on.
But talk to me about how you manage that change internally as well as externally.
Yeah, it was embraced with open arms. Personally, they loved it because it wasn't just a rebranding for rebranding's sake. Okay, we got rid of Princeton.
Every 4 years, get another name in, a new logo.
Exactly, but we had a vision, we had a purpose as the life-changing agency that people really got behind. I mean, imagine going to an agency and knowing that you're going to be working on the first of its kind type of brand. Imagine, what type of excitement that eludes, and getting up every day knowing that you're actually working on a brand that's making a big impact, a meaningful difference in the world. And when we coupled and built this new rebranding around CDMP and life-changing, people just embraced it. They were like, this is exciting, this is the type of agency I want to be part of, and it gave them something to really kind of rally around.
And certainly with that came so many other internal changes. Tell me a little bit about some of the activities that the agency has put into play over the last couple of years.
This is now our third year working with the MAPE, the 4A's MAPE program, which is the Multicultural Advertising Internship Program. We've been very fortunate to have, over the last 3 years, every year, 2 wonderful interns that have come into the agency. We've been working with Omega Delta Upsilon Foundation, which is a charitable organization found right here in New Jersey, where connects urban students with mentors within the community. We do a lot of work with the One Show, which is part of the One School, which is a portfolio review for Black creatives. And when you look at all of these initiatives, they're really win-wins for everyone. They're wins for the students and the folks that we're helping, because we're giving them coaching and mentorship and perspectives. But also it's a huge win for all of our employees too, because it gives them an opportunity to feel like they're giving back, and that they're making an impact in helping somebody kind of establish that foothold in the world.
Well, that also feeds back into the culture, right? I mean, automatically, if you have a broader, more inclusive culture, it's going to be a better culture. I mean, it's just how it works. But at the same time, you have programs that are well beyond that as well. How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it fun? How do you keep it meaningful?
Oh, I'm gonna give total props to my culture club right now on this one. I have got a group, a dedicated group at CDMP that this is what they work on. They focus on all of the different cultural events and staying connected and kind of like fanning that camaraderie and that partnership. And they bring ideas to me like regularly on suggestions and what to do. And every idea is better than the last. And I think that this is part of making an environment, a work environment that people feel connected and excited to be part of. And to me, the Culture Club is one of those initiatives and one of those groups that I believe is a little bit of like the shining star, the secret sauce that nobody talks about, but is probably the most important part of the agency.
Well, it's also the different air that we've discussed a couple times during this. In terms of external opportunities, we've talked a lot about internal and culture. Externally, the conversations that you're having with clients now, specifically around life-changing, how are those conversations different from the ones that you were having pre-pandemic? How are they evolved? And how would you characterize them vis-a-vis what they once were?
These conversations are quite interesting because they've never been had before. When you think about the types of brands that we're working on, the first of their kind, the breakthrough therapies, there's no playbook. There's no guidelines on exactly what to follow. We have built a structure at CDMP. We actually have a proprietary system called the Breakthrough Navigator, where we look at all of these different marks. The regulatory marks, the clinical challenges, as well as the operational challenges. And we've built a system around them to really help our clients get ahead of those. And the fact that we're dealing with emerging biotechs, they don't have the internal structures themselves to understand, from a regulatory or operational or clinical perspective on exactly what the right path or how to navigate some of these challenges. And we come in and basically tell them that we've got a process on how to help them and really connect those dots for them to ultimately launch these brands with the most success possible.
How do you make sure that you're getting the people who are doing this for the right reason? How do you make sure that you get the people that aren't just saying like, okay, well, right now this seems like a hot place, this seems like a place where I could make a career for a little while, versus the ones that really do believe in the mission of being life-changing?
the funny thing is that they find you when you have a purpose that they believe in. And when you think about some of the consumer brands, you're not dealing with sugar water. You're dealing with a therapy that is truly changing a life.
You're curing
disease. You're curing. The durability of these brands of like staving off the disease for a course of period. You're truly changing somebody's world and life. Mm-hmm. And it's not as superficial as just a soda, but it is really something that is more meaningful. And I think when it comes to great talent, people know where the interest is right now, and they do understand that healthcare, especially with the advances that healthcare has made over the course of the last 10 years, this is the places that they want to be right now.
You have an agency that is a very well-defined culture. You have a company that is working on life-changing products, and you have an industry that is, people are trying to find meaning. People are coming in. Obviously, a lot of this was planned very well, but at the same time, what does it say about CDMP that you were ready for this moment? That when the moment was there, everything was set up in a way that you were able to take advantage of it?
Yeah, it was planned. It was planned for the last 4 or 5 years, and continues to grow, and we continue to fan it. And what's great is that our mission has not changed in the last 5 years. We're just continuing to build it and grow it. It's kind of like a brand's business. It's a business plan that we're building. And every year we're going to continue to add to it, continue to strengthen it, and make sure that we've got the right programs to really bring it to life. And I think next year we've got a ton more that's baked into our business plan to just keep this thing rolling as long as we possibly can.
Yeah, because that's the next obvious question. It's the old crystal ball question, which is almost unfair to ask at this time, simply because the future changes every couple of weeks, right? But at the same time, if we're having this conversation at this time next year, what are some of the things you hope to be telling me? What are some of the things you expect to be telling me? What are some of the immediate items on your to-do list?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was mentioning that we have a vision meeting on Wednesday in 2 days, which we've got 60 or 70 people coming in for, which is really exciting just to see people for the first time. That vision meeting is really setting up what our game plan is moving forward. And one of the big things that we are definitely doubling down on this year and moving forward is our people. And if I were to look at a crystal ball, it's continuing to bring in great people. And I never want to be the smartest person in the room, and at CDMP I'm not, and that's wonderful because I'm always learning. I think you need to build and foster a learning environment, and at CDMP we try our best from a learning and development perspective to constantly push everybody to get better at their own trade, and also to broaden their own range of concern, past what they might be working on every day, to just understanding, all the new innovations and technologies and therapies that are coming out, and just to have a little curiosity and courage to learn more.
This is obviously work. It's it's a business, but it also strikes me, having this conversation with you and many of our other conversations, that you enjoy this. This is fun. Oh. Is this fun?
I love it. Larry, it's so interesting because I learned early on that when you have a purpose that you're working towards and it aligns with who you are and you enjoy it, you're not really working a day in your life. And I found that advertising and healthcare and actually CDMP has been, for me, the thing I care so much about. It's been part of my life for 23 years, and I think that there's still so much more to build at CDMP, and to say that I have a passion and an enthusiasm and an energy would be an understatement. I do truly love what I do every day, and the reason is because I love the people I work with.
And that's a reason that it's so much fun to talk to you about these things. We need to do this again. We need to do this more often.
Fantastic. This was wonderful. Thank you so much again for sitting with me and having this conversation in the most picturesque place you could possibly ask for. Thank you so much, Larry. I really appreciate it.